It's time to rally in the valley. It's Matsu Miners Baseball, and Kevin Peel and Kyle Howard have it for you next on the Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Welcome into the Miners Pregame Show, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Here's the voices of the Miners, Kevin Peel and Kyle Howard.
One year ago, the Matsu Miners headed to Anchorage for a top-of-the-world series matchup with the Alaska Gold Painters. The Miners were then swept by the Alaska Gold Painters and were devastated, finishing second in the Alaska Baseball League for a second consecutive year. Tonight, an AL team from Anchorage makes its way into Palmer as the Anchorage Bucs, champions of the AL division of the ABL, are looking to hand the Miners their third consecutive second-place finish in the ABL. The Miners have other ideas, and on the other hand, as they are hoping to make their third time a charm to win the team's first ABL championship since 2010. Hello, everybody, and welcome out to sunny and beautiful Palmer, Alaska. I'm Kyle Howard alongside my broadcast partner, Kevin Peel. We're live from Hermon Brothers Field, and you are now inside the Napa Auto Parts pregame show. We're just moments away from the first pitch of Game 1 of the top of the World Series between the Matsu Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. Over the weekend, the Miners headed to Kenai to take on the Peninsula Oilers. The Miners won both games, sweeping the 5-game series over the Oilers. On the other side, after facing a red-hot first half, the Anchorage Bucs are now 1-2 in their last 3 games to close out the regular season. Kevin, how important is it for a team to really get off to a hot start at the end of the season, heading into a playoff atmosphere such as this one, the top of the World Series for the Anchorage Bucs and the Matsu Miners tonight?
Only time is going to tell the answer to that question, Kyle. You can look at it a couple ways, and I think it's always good to come in playing well and being focused in a groove. But at the same time, when you get to a best-of-3 series like this, when you have to win 2 games, nothing matters except these games that you're playing right now in front of you. And it's just crazy to see that an entire season now has come down to this. It is the Miners have dominated this ABL for the entire length of the season, essentially. And all of a sudden, though, it's up to these 2 wins that they need to get to really validate all that they've done this season, because when you look at it, there's no team better than the Anchorage Bucs that could give them a run for their money, and they're going to give them that in this series. I really believe it when I say this, that this is one of the most exciting and thrilling series to decide a championship in Alaska baseball history, and I do believe that with all the stakes, the way it's going, the new playoff format starting last year. But the climax was really taken out of last year's series when the Panthers won that first game over the Miners 14-0. But when you look at it this year, a different outlook on life. The Miners can take so much from last year and also this season, growing as a team into this matchup. So while it is important that the Miners came in playing well, and while the Bucs maybe scuffled a little bit down the stretch those last 3 games, it's down to these 3 games. Who wins 2 games?
And as you mentioned, it's going to be a tough battle between these two teams that are very, very good this year, both winning their divisions this year. Miners in the NL and the Bucs in the AL. These 2 teams went neck and neck during the regular season as the Miners went 3-2 against the Bucs in conference play to win the season series, while finishing 3-3 overall against the Bucs this year. Nearly every matchup between these 2 teams was close. All but one of these games was decided by 3 runs or fewer, with 2 of those games also being decided by just 1 run. Kevin, should we expect anything different from these 2 teams as they battle on the ABL's biggest stage over the next 2 days?
I think the season has showed us that we cannot expect anything different, that this is going to be a tight series. When you look at it, all things on paper suggest that this is going to be a low-scoring, grind-out type of series with how talented the pitching staffs are, and especially how much success that guys like Jim Voiles and Aaron Soto, the record doesn't reflect it, but has definitely had a good outings against the Miners this season. And on the other side, the Miners pitchers have been able to do well against the Bucs as well. So when you look at it, all signs point towards a low-scoring series, but when you have as talented a lineups as these two teams have, the Bucs are stacked. It wasn't showing very early in the season how talented they were, but once they started to get into the groove, it showed, and it showed they were the class of that AL division. The Miners have had those outbursts when they've showed that they are a very offensive superior team. That pitching staff has been dominant and overshadowed the hitting all season long, has been that contributing factor to getting to where they are today with that record. But when you look at it, this series could go either way. You just never know. Maybe sometimes when a pitcher is not going to be quite on during a day two, and that's when the offenses are going to come to the forefront in this series. But it is an exciting one, and I think we can even look back to less than a week ago on Tuesday. It was a low-scoring matchup here. Bucs led 1-0 through 7 innings. Miners were able to tie it in the bottom of the 8th in that game. Bucs able to get that big hit from Brenton Conrad, that 3-run double to ultimately win that game. Those are the types of games I think we can expect in this series. But the one thing you can expect is going to be a good series. It's going to be an entertaining series. And the person who wins this series, the team that wins this series, most definitely deserves it.
And you mentioned that game back on the 28th was just this past Tuesday here. The Miners, that was the only game this season that's been 4 runs, a 4-run differential at least. Every other game has been within 3 runs, and that was because of a big hit in the 9th inning. Up until that point, it was a 1-run ball game throughout. So it goes to show you how close these two teams have played all season long. The series is a best-of-3 series. The team to reach 2 wins in the series will become champions of the ABL. Kevin, with the winner needing just 2 wins to claim the championship on the top of the World Series, how important is it to win this first game tonight?
It's enormous. I mean, you look at it, and tomorrow you see a 3 p.m. game on the schedule. If you've been checking out the top of the World Series, looking at how doubleheaders go, it is not really statistically easy, historically speaking at least, that a team goes out and is able to sweep a doubleheader. This game is a solo game tonight. Whoever wins this game goes into tomorrow feeling good about their chances going into that game 2. But when you look at it, if you leave tonight with a loss, a team that will leave tonight with a loss has got to be feeling a little bit iffy. They know they're going to have to come out and have one of the best baseball days of their lives, because you're going to have to beat a talented team, an extremely talented team, either way it is, whether the Bucs lose tonight or the Miners lose tonight. So it's going to be fantastic. I am really excited to see how it plays out. And again, these two teams have really earned their way here. They have done all the things they need to do, and now it's time to play baseball to see which one of them reigns supreme in the Alaska Baseball League.
And we'll now take a break in the Napa Auto Parts pregame show. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups for you for this game between the Miners and the Bucs. Game number 1 of the top of the World Series is on its way next. This is Matsu Miners Baseball right here on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Good evening, folks, and welcome out to Hermon Brothers Field tonight, as the Matsu Miners and Anchorage Bucs are just moments away from starting game number 1 of the top of the World Series. An intriguing matchup between teams that are in World Series droughts, that is. The Miners looking for their first championship since 2010. The Anchorage Bucs, you have to go all the way back to 1996 before they won their last outright title. So it'll be an interesting matchup to see how things shake up as the best of 3 series will kick off tonight. But before we get the first pitch underway, let's go ahead and give you those starting lineups out there. Starting first for the Anchorage Bucs, Andrew Montoya at shortstop. Batting second in left field, Sam Brown. Batting third and playing second base, Stephen Trosclair. Batting fourth and a cleanup tonight, the DH, Bryn Conrad. Batting fifth in the first base, Taylor Jones. Out in right field, batting sixth, Justin Jacobs. Behind the plate, batting seventh, David Banuelos. Batting eighth and playing third base, Zane Gurwitz. And batting ninth and playing center field, Brody Leftridge. That rounds out your batting order for the Anchorage Bucs, who come in after finishing off the season 27-21 overall with a 23-16 record in the ABL. Let's go ahead and give you your defensive lineups for the Matsu Miners tonight. Out in right field is Brick Paskowitz, and center field Alex Caruso. Out in left field, Connor Wanhana. And across the infield, Tanner Nishioka at first base, Jake Schleppenbach at second base, Tyler Wolf at shortstop, Niles Nygaard at third base, and your battery of Eli Morgan on the hill and J.J. Hancock behind the plate. Eli Morgan, the right-hander from Gonzaga, he's a freshman there. He'll be entering his sophomore year this season. 5-0 on the year with a stellar .84 earned run average in 8 games, 7 starts, working 42 2/3 innings, striking out a stellar 47, while walking just 13 and allowing 34 base hits. Now facing the Bucs for the third time this season. This season he's 1-0 with no runs allowed in 11 innings pitched, allowing 7 base hits, 9 strikeouts, and 2 face-on balls this season against this Bucs team. Looking to get a second win of the year against this Bucs team as we're about ready to play baseball here in Palmer. Leading things off will be the shortstop, Andrew Montoya. First pitch in there for a curveball. We're underway here at 5:59 Alaska time here in Palmer. Sunny skies here, 77 degrees and mostly sunny. Here's the 1-0 here. It's a fastball down low. 2-0 now to Montoya. Montoya, a .224 batter for the regular season. Also doubled twice, tripled once, and drove in 10 runs. The 2-1 is a curveball that backdoors him. 2-1 the count. Nice crowd on hand for the top of the World Series. The first time it's ever been in Palmer. Miners trying to win it for the home crowd. Here's the wind, the 2-1. Curveball, backdoors him, gets the knees right down Broadway. Called strike here on the leadoff hitting Andrew Montoya. The outfield will play him straight away in the left-hander Montoya. Eli Morgan winds and delivers the 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, the ball in the dirt. The ball blocked by the catcher Hancock. He fires over to first base to complete the out. Strikeout number 1 of the evening for Eli Morgan. And if you're counting the regular season, now this one here, he has 48 of them on the season now. A good start against the Bucs here, Kevin.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys that just came up a couple strikeouts short of Joe Fernandez in the overall lead in the ABL. Miners leading the ABL in the regular season in strikeouts, but Eli Morgan's been a guy that's been punching out batters all year. Gets a nice one here to start off this ballgame.
So Sam Brown steps into the plate now, the left-handed batter and the left fielder tonight. It's the first pitch fastball away, 1-0 the count. He was a .261 batter in the regular season with 5 doubles, 2 triples, and 11 knocked in. Here's the wind, the 1-0 from Morgan. It's a curveball that catches the inner half of the plate for a called strike. 1-1 the count even. Home plate umpire is Tim Davis. On the base pass, your umpire and crew out at first base right now is Rob Mace, and at third base, Jim Leiser. Here's a pitch that's grounded down the first base line. Eli Morgan will make the play at first base and swipe the tag to get Sam Brown. They're actually going to say he missed it. The first base umpire, Rob Mace. It appeared from our angle that he did get him, but the speedy Sam Brown able to beat that one out. We'll see officially how they score that one. They score an infield hit now as we get the awarding from the official scorer. The second batter in the game, and Sam Brown are aboard on an infield single. So now that with one man out, and a runner on first base, that brings up Stephen Trosclair, the league's leader in RBIs.
Sam Brown, one of those guys that has good wheels, and he was just able to beat Eli Morgan to that baseball. It's grounded right down that first base line, and he was passing the ball right as Morgan got to it, so not quite able to slap the tag down in time. Nice infield single for Sam Brown.
So now with Sam Brown on first base, he'll be held on over there. The infield will move to double play depth. The outfield straight away. As Trosclair digs in, here's the first pitch to him. Fly ball hit to deep left field. Connor Wanhanen trailing toward the left center field gap a couple steps. And he backs up about 3 steps also out there. Makes the catch for out number 2. Trosclair retired on 1 pitch. Trosclair was coming into the day with a 294 clip, 9 doubles, 4 triples, 2 homers, and obviously the league leading 25 RBIs, but Eli Morgan able to retire him on 1 pitch. Now 2 men out. Back to first base goes Sam Brown. The infield will move back to normal depth and straight away. The outfield moves back slightly and also playing straight away. On the cleanup hitter, Bryn Conrad. Throw over to first base. Back safely goes Sam Brown. Conrad, a 305 batter. 7 doubles, 1 triple, and 11 RBIs in the regular season. Morgan comes set from the stretch. Here's a delivery. Change up that misses just low. It dips at the very last second. 1-0 the count on the left-handed batting Bryn Conrad. Bryn awaiting now the 1-0, the short lead at first base for Sam Brown. Here's the pitch. Curveball runs inside on him. 2-0 the count now. On the cleanup hitting Conrad, of course, had that big double over the center fielder Caruso's head that would plate 3 runs back on Tuesday. And would give the Bucs that 4-1 lead at the time. They ended up winning 5-1. That was in the top half of the 9th inning on Tuesday. First pitch, or the pitch here is grounded on the first base side. That goes foul. 2-1 the count. Conrad trying to deliver here with 2 men out and a runner on first base. 0-0 to score here in Palmer. Eli Morgan retiring the first batter on a strikeout, allowing a single on the infield variety to Sam Brown. Then a fly out to left to Trosclair. That's where we're at in the inning. Morgan delivers as the runner at first base goes, and Sam Brown, he'll take no throw as a pitch outside for a ball and a fastball. 3-1 the count. A stolen base for Sam Brown. Of course, in postseason play, that won't go toward his regular season statistics, but had it counted, he'd have a 7 stolen base and 8 tries this year. But now a 3-1 count on the cleanup hitter Conrad. Runner on second base. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down low in the dirt, scooped up by the catcher Hancock. That'll be a walk, the first issued of the night by the right-hander Morgan. So first and second, 2 men out now for the Bucs. A little bit of trouble here for Eli Morgan.
Yeah, he this time falling behind a couple batters, was able to get Trosclair easily on that fly ball to left field, but Brent Conrad there was very patient. Eli Morgan didn't really give him a lot to hit, and he was able to lay off and draw a walk. So Sam Brown, although he stole that bag, would have ended up at second base anyway.
Now the infield and outfield are going to play straight away. They try the pickoff throw to second base and barely safe, says umpire Jim Leiser. Is Sam Brown at second base. He slides just under the tag. Morgan tried to nip him off at second base. Tyler Wolf covered the throw, but he was back there safely with Sam Brown. Morgan comes set. Now he delivers. Curveball catches the outside edge. Had a lot of movement on Taylor Jones. 0-1 the count. Taylor at Gonzaga, a teammate of a few minors here, concluding the pitcher on the hill, and Eli Morgan. It's a 333 batter with 5 doubles and 11 RBIs is Jones. Morgan delivers the plate now on the 0-1. This one flied out the right center field. Caruso giving chase toward the right center field gap. He hauls it in out there for out number 3. So despite allowing runners on first and second with 2 out, Morgan able to get out of it with a fly out the right center field to Caruso. Miners keep the Bucs scoreless here in the top of the first inning. We move to the bottom of the first inning, a scoreless ball game here in Palmer. Listen to Matsu Miners Baseball right here on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Welcome back to Hermon Brothers Field as we enter the bottom of the first inning here. Let's go ahead and give you those defensive alignments for the Anchorage Bucs. Out in right field is Justin Jacobs. In center field, Brody Leffridge. Sam Brown out in left field. Taylor Jones at first base. Stephen Troskler at second. Andrew Montoya at shortstop. At third base, Zane Gerwitz. And your battery tonight of left-hander Aaron Soto on the hill and David Bonuelos, the catcher. He is behind the plate tonight. Your batting order for the Matsu Miners: Alex Caruso batting first and playing center field. Batting second and playing shortstop, Tyler Wolf. Batting third and playing right field, Brick Paskowitz. Matt DiOrio bats cleanup and plays DH tonight. The first pitch taken low for a ball. 1-0 to Caruso. Tanner Nishioka bats fifth and plays first base. Niles Nygaard at third base. There's a 1-0 pitch outside for a ball. Inside in there for a called strike on the outside edge, 1-1 to count. Niles Nygaard batting sixth, of course. Jake Schleppenbach at second base. He bats seventh tonight. J.J. Hancock behind the plate, batting eighth, and batting ninth and playing left field, Connor Wanhanen. Aaron Soto on the hill for the Bucs. He's 6-1 on the year with a .88 earned run average in 9 games, 7 starts, working 50 2/3 innings, with 30 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 39 hits as Caruso takes a fastball away for a ball. 2-1 the count from the lefty. This year, Soto losing his only game to the Miners. This one popped out on the third base line by Caruso. 2-2 the count. Soto losing just 1 game this year. It leads the league in that category, tied with James Harrington for 6 wins in the ABL, but his only loss coming against the Miners this season. It's a 2.25 earned run average with an 0-1 record, allowing 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk against the Miners this year. Caruso spoils another one down the left field line. It's 2-2 on him. Caruso catching that ball to end the inning in the top half of this inning, out on the right center field gap as he chased it down. Coming into the day, .364, the league leader in that hitting. He won the hitting title in the ABL. 4 doubles, 1 homer, and 22 knocked in. Here's the pitch. It's a curveball that misses just outside for a ball. 3-2, the count full on the leadoff hitting Caruso. Miners trying to get the leadoff hitter aboard here against Soto. Here's the wind, the payoff pitch. Curveball missing inside and low. Caruso earns himself a walk here. That's how things start for him. Just the 10th walk allowed by the left-hander this season, and it puts Caruso on the base pass here. Caruso very good at working walks this year, led the Miners team this year with 23 of them in the regular season. Now that'll be his 24th year with a walk. Now they'll bring up Tyler Wolf with a runner on first base. The infield moves a double play up, the outfield straight away. Caruso will be held at first base by Taylor Jones. Tyler Wolf, 253 batters, 6 doubles, 16 RBIs. So Wolf awaits the first pitch, squares around a bunt, takes a curveball inside for a ball. 1-0 the count now on Tyler Wolf, the Kansas State product. Playing a very good shortstop and all-star for the Miners this past season. Soto comes set from the stretch. Caruso on first base. Here's a delivery. Curveball catches the inner edge this time again. A lot of movement that tailed inside, but it caught the inner edge of the plate before it went inside. 1-1 the count on the Miners righty. Short lead for Caruso. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball to third base off the glove of Gerwitz into left field. That's a base hit. Taking a big turnaround second base and heading back there is Caruso. The Miners have the first 2 aboard here in the bottom half of the first inning in a 0-0 ball game.
That was a laser lined off the bat of Tyler Wolf that time. Gerwitz was pulled in a little bit just into the grass off the dirt at third base and just not able to dive in time. If he would have been playing back, that maybe could have been a routine play, but had to guard against the bunt because Wolf showed it the first pitch of that at bat. Uses that to his advantage, lines one right past him, 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
So now runners on first and second for Brick Paskowitz, the league's MVP, voted on all ABL awards this past week. He squares around a bunt and pulls back, but takes a strike at the knees and a fastball. 0-1 to Brick. Of course, Paskowitz, a .341 batter with a double, 3 triples, and 13 RBIs. Has also worked 12 walks this season. He bats from the left side with Taylor Jones at third base brought in. Expecting a bunt, Gerwitz also on the infield grass at third. Short leads for both Caruso and Tyler Wolf. Caruso at second, Wolf at first. Paskowitz squares around a bunt, but bunts this one fouled on the first base line. Be an 0-2 count on Paskowitz, so we'll see what the skipper Ben Taylor does at third base if he elects to keep the bunt on. or if he has Paskowitz swing away here. Nice crowd on hand here again. A record crowd in the Pete Christopher era, the last home game of the season back on Thursday night. That was 1,338 fans showing up for that one. We expect to surpass that tonight. Soto ready with the 0-2. Now he's going to step off here. The lefty from Tennessee trying to figure out a way to get a double play here and try to minimize the damage the first two have reached against them. A 0-0 ball game here in the bottom of the first inning at Hermon Brothers Field. Soto comes set from the stretch. Looks back, the runner at second. Here's the 0-2 to Paskowitz. Curveball missing inside, brushes Paskowitz off the plate. 1-2 the count now. Sunny night here in Palmer. Glaring right in our faces here. It's got to be a tough behind the plate for David Bonuelos to see every pitch coming in. And, of course, the Bucs wearing those black uniforms, probably a little bit toasty out there. Soto looks back to second. Here's the 1-2. Popped up on the infield. Soto calling for it toward the first base line. He'll make the catch himself to get the out. So good damage control by Aaron Soto to retire the league MVP and Brick Paskowitz on a pop-up here. So now with one man out, runners on first and second with Caruso at second and Wolf at first base. That'll bring up Matt DiOrio. And those same all-ABL selections. Matt DiOrio voted the best DH in all of the ABL. In the regular season, batted .331 with 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 19 RBIs, which was second on the team behind Alex Caruso with 22 of them. The lefty DiOrio ready from the lefty Soto. Takes the first pitch up and in for a ball. 1-0 the count from Soto here. Infield still at double play depth, trying to erase the runners on the base path and get out of the inning here. The first two have reached for the Miners. The Miners then get a pop-up from Paskowitz. The outfield playing very deep, and toward the right field line are the outfielders here for the Bucs. Here's the 1-0. Chop foul off home plate. Evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. DiOrio going to step back in the box here. Trying to put the Miners ahead for the first time. 0-0 ball game here.